a medical situation recently, and we had a blood oxygen monitor up, and I was just sitting there waiting for the doctor, and the nurse came over to me and said, "Honey, you stopped breathing." She was just like, "Take a breath, breathe." And so it's unconscious when you're lowering your breath. And so Esther's going to do a great job of actually helping us to remember to breathe in a way that benefits us and helps us.
Yeah, so even I forget to breathe a lot, and it's something that I think about quite often. And so I saw a statistic that was something like 95% of the human population are not breathing at optimal capacity most of the time. And so what that ends up doing is we're taking our breaths into our chest, like you were saying. And what we really want to start practicing is taking the breath through deep into the diaphragm, which is more towards the belly.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Healthy Heart webinar. We're excited to have you guys back. If this is your first time, you're in for a treat again today. We're going to do some fun things. We're going to chat about some important health-related topics, and we may even have a special guest today. So we're excited that you guys are here. We are going to talk a lot about stress, and it's going to be a little interactive. So before we even begin, if you have a copy of the Healthy Heart Solution Kit, go grab it. If you have the digital version, awesome, pull it up. And you may want to grab a pen and paper. If you have this copy, you can just write in this, or if you have the digital version, you may just want to be able to write some things down, because we're going to get a little, we're going to do a little bit of an assessment today, which will be kind of fun, but it'll be good for us too. This is going to be really, really important for all of us to do. So we may also have a special guest that's going to come in and show us one way to maybe reduce some stress in our lives. So it'll be a fun time.
And that special guest is not Dr. Saunders.
Yes. Yes. I should say that. Dr. Saunders actually is not on. He's on a plane, I think, right now. So he's a busy guy. He has been traveling a lot.
Where's he headed?
I don't even know. He just said he was going to be on a flight. So I'm not real sure. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Saunders' father passed away a couple of weeks ago. And I don't think he mentioned that on this webinar, but I kind of wonder if he isn't flying wherever the funeral will be, because I believe that will be next week. So that might be what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. We have a lot of you hopping on. Will you guys do me a favor, and in the chat, let us know where you are tuning in from. We'd love to know. Before we start, first of all, we are not medical doctors. So anything that we say or recommend, be sure to consult with your medical professional before you implement any of these things, okay? My name is Leslie, for those of you who may be new here, and I primarily host our webinars, I guess I would say. So we have a webinar that focuses on type 2 diabetes that we do on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central. And then, of course, today is our Healthy Heart webinar, and we do that 12 noon Central. If you are brand new and you want more information about those webinars, head to bartonwebinar.com and you will find all the information that you need. One of the things that I get asked often is, actually, I get a lot of emails that say, "Hey, can you change the time of this? I'm not able to make this one," or "I have a doctor's appointment at this time. Can I reschedule this webinar?" We record all of these. So if you go to our YouTube channel, there is a link at Barton Webinar, and you can watch all of these. You can watch our diabetes webinars. There's also some other videos that you'll find very interesting as well. You can get a pretty darn good education on our YouTube channel. I'm just going to let you know, there's so much good stuff. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to subscribe, so every time a webinar is uploaded, you will be notified. Most all of these are posted. I think we're a little bit behind on the diabetes ones, but they'll be coming. So, all right.
Somebody already asked, Carl asked, do we have to sign up every week for the webinars?
You sign up one time, and the beauty of the way that we have this set up is that you'll get a reminder. So you'll get a reminder, I think, the day before, and then the day of. And it's okay if you can't make it. Don't worry about it. Just catch the replay, hop on when you can. That's kind of the beauty of it. And also, some people, I've had some messages also that people think that their camera is going to be on when they hop on. It isn't. So you can do this from the comfort and privacy of your home. If you want to chat with us, you're more than welcome to do that. And you can do that. Actually, the Q&A is a really good spot for questions. I'll just be honest with you right now, Dr. Saunders is not on, so we aren't going to be able to answer your medical questions. We could maybe give you an idea of what he would say, but we don't know. We don't know what he knows. He knows all the things. So, and we miss him. And I know that you guys do too. So we're sorry that he's not on today, but he very seldom misses a webinar, but he is today. So, okay. Where is everyone from here?
Well, Carl, who just asked if you can sign up every week, he's from Cuenca, Ecuador, and it's his first time on the webinar.
Awesome.
So usually we pick a topic and Dr. Saunders talks about it for roughly around a half an hour, and then he takes your questions. So if you have a particular question, you come back and ask Dr. Saunders. And I tell you what, even if it's not always on topic, he usually has an answer. This man researches, he reads, he's outside of the box of the medical system. If you have a stump of a question, he might be able to have the answer. He's answered both questions for my health, for Leslie's health, that have transformed our health journey. So he can do that for you.
Yes. Yes, we have a lot of people that hop on and we give the disclaimer that he is not he's not your doctor, right? But many people say, but I feel like he is. He's never seen me and I've never talked to him personally, but I feel like he's my doctor. And we feel that way too. He's so gifted at what he does and he absolutely loves it. My favorite thing is when you ask him a question and he gets really excited to talk about it because this is his passion and he's working in his passion. And isn't that what we all want? So okay, what else do I want to quick cover here?
We have Buckeye Lake, Ohio, Connie. We have Turning On, Rita from Lawrence, Kansas. I'm a Kansas girl.
You're a Kansas girl?
I was born in Kansas, Hutchinson, Kansas.
No way. Actually, and you know what, Cheryl, tell us what you do for the Barton team.
So I work on home cares that work every month. So Dr. Saunders writes articles, and then we have other health specialists and experts who write articles, nutritionists, naturopaths. And so I put that together every month. And then I also work with our customer service, manage our email team, and help with things like shipping. So if you have any question, email us at support@bartonpublishing.com. If you do attention, Cheryl, it'll get to me. But I really love our especially our email team. We actually watch Dr. Saunders' videos, and so we educate ourselves. So hopefully you just don't get a simple answer. You might actually get someone who can help you and knows a little bit about your situation. So don't be afraid to ask a question. We love helping you. We're here to do that. And yeah.
Awesome.
Any problems with your orders, give us a call. We want to make it right. If there's a mistake, we'll own it, but we want to get you the right product or whatever happened. We'll see to it that we can correct it for you.
And Cheryl, can you just tell us a little bit more about how home cares that work? Because I feel like it is such an amazing thing that we offer and we don't share about it enough. Tell us what home cares that work is.
So it's a website you do have to have a membership for, and I keep needing to, have to remember to get you guys a special code for it. But it's some of our articles are membership only, and some are free. And so Dr. Saunders has been writing for almost 15 years. So we used to go topic by topic, and then we started broadening the questions. But like every month, there are usually 4 to 5 articles that are new. And this month, Dr. Saunders wrote, I have to look it up because it's quite an interesting name. He wrote about dysautonomia. So it's kind of like it's a symptoms that's kind of all encompassing. So brain fog, dizziness, heart palpitation, fatigue, incontinence, nervous issues. So he talks about all the ways that this can happen, how you can get it from PTSD, what kind of tests you need to run, how to heal from it, what supplements you might take, and more educational information. And then we have, an article about A1C goals, why we love curcumin, which is also our supplement, turmeric BP, and how to speed up your metabolism with the right foods. So,
So
offer
here's
something new, and just we have something on diabetes every month. So if you're someone who has high blood sugar, you always get an article about how to do what you can do about diabetes. We have recipes. So there's really something for everybody. And I would say just search for any question you have. Usually there's an answer there.
yeah, so it's just so cool. We actually I'm just shocked every time I read these articles. I just learn so much. I feel like sometimes I wish I would have went to school for some of this, but I'm like, I don't need to anymore because I get to learn from Dr. Saunders and Cheryl and all of the information on this and on the webinars. And I just really, really appreciate it. So if you're someone who's really looking to take control of your health and you want that education and you want to learn more about these things, this is a really, really good option. So be sure to check that out, homecuresthatwork.com. Okay, let's go ahead and dig into what we're going to do here today. Again, feel free to post questions right there in the Q&A if you're on Zoom. Those of you on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to comment in the comment area. We'll do our best to get to those. All right, I want to just make sure I have this ready. Okay, so we're going to chat a little bit about, first of all, the Healthy Heart Solution Kit. This is really why we're here each week. What our team and Dr. Saunders have created this book. This is what Dr. Saunders recommends to the patients that come into his office who are maybe interested in getting their heart a little healthier, or maybe they've already been diagnosed with heart disease or various other heart-related things. This is basically the program that he recommends to people that come in. And so this is available for purchase. You can find that at bartonwebinar.com, but you can get this hard copy version or you can get the digital version. And Cheryl actually has her digital version in front of her right now too. That can be in your inbox, or you can download it, I guess, actually within minutes. So that is a really good option. And if you use code webinar25, you will save 25%. So the digital version is like under about $20, let's say, and you can get 25% off of that with code webinar25. Okay. So if you have this copy, I want you guys to go grab it. We're going to be doing some work today. If you have the digital version, use that. If you don't have a copy, it's okay. We're going to read through some of this, but one of the things that we really want to talk about today is stress. And I know that Dr. Saunders talks about this quite often. If you've been around the webinars, you know how important stress is on our health, and not important in a good way, right? We even shared this yesterday, I think, on the diabetes webinar, just about a woman who was doing all of the things to reverse her type 2 that Dr. Saunders had recommended, like very strict, doing just eating well, exercising, all of the things. And for months, nothing was changing. Well, her older grown daughter was living in her home. She had moved back home. And after getting started, I think it had been a few months, she moved out. And all of a sudden, her blood sugar numbers significantly reduced and she was in great health again, not realizing how stressed she was from having her grown daughter living in her home again. And sometimes we don't even recognize that we have stress in our life, which is something that I, after reading through this, felt like I could really relate to. Cheryl and I have had discussions about things like this too, where it's like we go through maybe a stressful season and it didn't feel stressful at the time, but all of a sudden, months down the road, your body is displaying the effects of the stress that was happening. And so that's kind of what we are going to chat a little bit about today. So if you have your solution kit, okay.
Let me just say, I like the digital version better because I'm on the computer a lot and I love searching it. So if I just go to the search function, look up stress, we'll find page 32, but a lot of other things that talk about stress. So let's say you're looking for a recipe, type in beans and search for beans, and then the recipe comes up for beans. So I prefer the digital. If you're wondering, you're on the fence, it's great to have something in hand as well. But for those of you who are thinking the digital is not so great, it is a great option to have.
Agreed. I do love that search component. That's very helpful because it takes me a while to search through my book, I will say. All right. Okay. So was it 32, I think, is the page that we're going to kind of start with Wait a minute. That's not right. Is it?
Yes. Well, stress
Sort of.
assessment starts on page 33.
Okay. One of the first things that you're going to do when you start this, obviously you're going to read through it. You'll get kind of an idea of how this program is set up. But we begin with phase 1, which is really where you jumpstart your reversal. So, stress is the first thing that we tackle, and it's the most important. And so we thought today would be a really good day to kind of dig in and maybe do this assessment together, because that kind of will give you an idea of where you are. If you've already done this, it's okay to do it again, because you'll see where you are. Maybe something has changed, and maybe the things that were stressful before weren't, or maybe you've overcome those, or maybe you have new stressors, right? We hope not. But let's go ahead and do this. Should we just start right at that stress? Let's start with the stress assessment. It says, I'm just going to read to you what the instructions say, and then maybe I'll have Cheryl read some of these too. It says, please think through and answer the following questions. If you have any trouble answering some of them, ask someone who knows you well how they would answer it for you. If we're honest with ourselves, we all suffer under stress to some degree. So please take this assessment seriously and be totally transparent with yourself. If you prefer, you can complete this stress assessment in the My Healthy Heart journal as well. So there is an option for you to write in your book. But if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, this is a good thing to do.
Saunders talks about what's your biggest risk for heart problems. Number one is atrial fibrillation. The second one is stress. So it's top on the list. So it's worth it to pay attention, answer honestly.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read number 1 and really think about these. What personal losses have you experienced in the past year or two? Examples would be like death of your spouse, divorce, job loss of your home, loss of some major physical or mental capacity, loss of a close friend or relative, loss of a beloved pet, loss of personal freedoms, or any other losses that you can think of. Please list them. So go ahead and write those down. This is number 1. We'll give you just a little bit of time here where we'll be quiet. And you may want to come back to this now that I'm thinking about it too, because some of these are going to take some time for you guys to really think about. But jot some notes down. All right, I'm going to go to number 2. You can go back to that one too. You might want to spend more time on this. Number 2, to what extent have you been stressed lately over your relationships? And then for your answers for these next questions, I'm just going to show you actually. I'm going to show you in the book if you don't have it. There's number 2. So your options are not at all, to some extent, significantly, or to a large extent.
Yeah, and relationships include spouse, loved one, partner, sibling, parent, child, grandchild, friend, coworker, boss, or neighbor, anyone else. Okay, number 3, to what extent are you stressed about your physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual health? Not at all, to some extent, significantly, or to a great extent. I don't even know if you can see that, but You can. It's a little far off though.
I know. Number 4, to what extent have you been feeling stressed lately over current events in our country or around the world? Again, not at all, to some extent, significantly, or to a great extent. I'll read that again. To what extent have you been feeling stressed lately over current events in our country or around the world? Number 5, to what extent do you tend to set unreasonable expectations or goals for yourself in any area of your life? Number 6, to what extent does someone else place unreasonable expectations on you? Number 7, to what extent are you currently worrying, anxious, or fearful about something over which you have no control? Please write down what is causing this stress. So it's a 2-part question. You're still going to score it, and then you can take notes under it too. Okay, number 8, to what extent do you experience a general sense of displeasure, hopelessness, or depression about your life? What do you attribute this to? So what extent do you feel this general sense of displeasure, hopelessness, or depression in your life? Is it not at all, to some extent, significantly, or to a great extent? And then what do you attribute this to? Number 9, to what extent are you feeling stressed about your financial situation? Not at all, to some extent, significantly, or to a great extent. Ten, to what extent do you feel stressed over something bad or wrong you did in the past, or over something bad or wrong someone did to you? $11, to what extent are you holding a grudge and refusing to forgive someone? Not at all, to some extent, significantly, or to a great extent. Number 12, to what extent would you characterize your days as more sad than happy? Not at all, to some extent, significantly, or to a great extent. And to what do you attribute this? A couple more. These are hard questions, guys. They're big questions. 13, to what extent do you feel you are simply trying to do too much, have too much on your plate, or that your life is moving so fast you don't have time to rest, relax, or even think? To what extent do you feel you are simply trying to do too much, have too much on your plate, or that your life is moving so fast you don't have time to rest, relax, or think? Is it not at all, to some extent, significantly, or to a great extent? Number 14, what other issues or circumstances in your life are currently stressing you that we haven't mentioned? So take a minute to think about that. And 15, how tightly does your stress have you wound up right now? Just loosely? Somewhat tightly? Tightly? Or very tightly? Oh, perfect. Our friend Esther is here. Okay, 1 second, Esther. Now with all of those that we just went through, you're going to go back and take note of each question in which you circled to a great extent. To the best of your ability, prioritize those in terms of their intensity or the impact on you. For example, if you circled to a great extent in questions 2, 3, 4, and 8, how would you prioritize those? Which ones were the most have the biggest impact on you? You're going to place a number 1 by the circle that holds top priority, and number 2 for the next, and so on. It's recommended that you focus on those personally prioritized stressors in the first phase, and we're going to talk about how to do that. Okay, so take a minute to do that. I'm going to get my friend Esther on here. Let's see.
Esther is going to help us with some breath work. She, I believe, is certified in breath work. She's from Portland. She holds weekly breath work sessions where she has lots of people come and do different kind of breathing sessions. And she'll probably tell you about all the benefits that you can get from doing these. Leslie's done some, I know, with her.
Yes, and they're awesome. Okay, Esther, I think you're there. Let's see. Yay, she's there. Look at how cute she is.
Hello.
So we have gotten to know Esther. We've gotten to travel with you quite a bit, and she will lead our team in some pretty awesome sessions. And in fact, if you've been hanging around the webinars for a while, she has actually been on a couple webinars, I think, and helped us to do some things. So Esther, this is our Healthy Heart webinar, and we've just got done doing a little quiz and helping us to really find the stressors in our life. We're learning how to see what is having the most impact on us. And now we are going to talk about how to deal with those stressors. And so tell us about kind of what your specialty is and what you are going to work on with us today.
Yeah, so breathwork is an amazing way to deal with stressors in life. And there's basically, when I get asked, like, what is breathwork? It simply is the act of breathing in a way that you are kind of consciously doing. So not just, obviously we're breathing all the time. So we're technically doing breath work in a sense all the time, but breath work really is when you bring mindfulness into how you are breathing and kind of start changing that pattern to achieve different states. So there's a lot of different types of breath work. And so today, because it's the Healthy Heart webinar, in just a little bit, I'm going to lead one of my favorites. It's a 5-minute, and it really can change how you feel for the rest of the day. And it's called the heart coherence breath. So I thought it was a perfect breath to lead for this. But yeah, so really just how you breathe can really impact how you are feeling stressed. It can lower blood pressure. It has a lot of benefits.
Awesome. Okay, tell us a little bit. Oh, go ahead, Cheryl.
I would say, I know when people are stressed, they tend to do shallow breathing, which does not oxygenate your body. It actually shuts down your body. And I have a little story. I was in a medical situation recently, and I had a blood oxygen monitor up, and I was just sitting there waiting for the doctor. And the nurse came over to me and said, "Honey, you stopped breathing." She was just like, "Take a breath, breathe." And so it's unconscious when you're lowering your breath. And so Esther's going to do a great job of actually helping us to remember to breathe in a way that benefits us and helps us.
Yeah, so even I forget to breathe a lot, and it's something that I think about quite often. And so I saw a statistic that was something like 95% of the human population are not breathing at optimal capacity most of the time. And so what that ends up doing is we're taking our breaths into our chest, like you were saying. And what we really want to start practicing is taking the breath through deep into the diaphragm, which is more towards the belly. So you can, when you're breathing, even put your hands on your belly and feel and make sure that you're breathing all the way deep down into your belly versus just the chest. And if there's ever moments in life, whether you're in the grocery store, picking up the kids from school, whatever it would be, where you take a moment and you start realizing I'm feeling a little uneasy, or I'm feeling a little stressed, or I'm feeling a little anxious. If you start thinking about how you're breathing, you'll notice you're probably breathing very shallow, like you were saying. And so even just taking 30 seconds, 20 seconds to just change that and take a few really deep breaths can really help lower, even like if your heart rate is super increased, it can help lower your heart rate a little and kind of get you into a more balanced state. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's do this. Let's get started. Actually, before we get started, I just want to quick ask Esther, tell us what you do for the Barton team.
Yeah, so if you receive any of the Barton newsletters, most of them have been touched by my hands. And so you may have even received an email from Esther before, Joe's assistant, and that's me. So pretty much regards to health writing for Barton, I do a lot of that, me and another person. And we connect with Joe and we connect with Dr. Saunders, and we ask them questions and get their messaging, and then we help write stuff that goes out to the public.
So all of the breath work and the stuff that you're doing is kind of like one of your passion things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't pay my bills, which recently when I've been hosting the in-person breathworks in Portland, and there have been a few which I just do a donation based, and there's been a few times where I've made like a few $100 on a Wednesday, and I'm like, whoa, because it's not even something I do for the money. So
Yeah, that's awesome. If somebody wants to learn more about what you do, I mean, can they follow you and learn about this? Or do you offer I don't even know. I don't even know where you're at in this whole journey. Could someone follow you somewhere and take classes with you, or how does that work?
yeah, someone could reach out to my email. I have an email specifically for breath work,
Okay.
and I have done one-on-one Zoom sessions before with people who are not in my area. And then if anyone is in the Pacific Northwest, I can even do one-on-one, or they can come to a group session with me as well.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to post in the chat. How would someone find you, or what works best?
Yeah, I can here. I'll
Or
post
you
my,
post it.
yeah, so this is my
Perfect.
breathwork email.
Okay.
So don't message me here for anything relating Barton,
Yeah.
but anything relating breathwork can be sent here.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. All right. Let's do this, guys. She's going to lead us in this. You just tell us what to do. I'm probably going to mute myself so that I'm not distracting you, and tell us what to do.
Yeah, so I do have an audio to play, and I don't know how it's going to pick up on the mic. So maybe we'll do a sound check and let me know how it's
Perfect.
sounding on your end.
Yep.
I'll just push play for a few seconds.
Okay.
And then you should hear a click sound. Okay. So that all sounds okay.
Yep.
Was it too
Yep.
loud or anything?
Loud and
I think
clear.
it's good. If you want to, if it's loud for some of you that are watching, you can just turn it down. Turn your computer down.
Okay. So yeah, before we begin, I'll talk about how we're going to breathe, and I'll talk about a little bit more of the benefit of this specific type of breathing too. So, like I said, this is called the heart coherence breath, and this is my favorite go-to if I only have 5 minutes in a day to do any type of breath work. This one is amazing. And actually, this breath can be done every 4 hours. So if it is something that you find really benefits you, and you can email me and I can help get you the recording of this as well, for the audio. So basically, you can start your day before, like right when you wake up, maybe take a sip of water, and you can do this 5 minute breath. And then what it actually does is for 4 hours helps increase serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, which are all really important hormones in regards to feeling good, feeling less stressed, and feeling happy. And at the same time, it lowers cortisol, which is that stress hormone. So this is a really healthy breath to do to just even start your day and kind of embrace the day in a different way. And then 4 hours later, around lunchtime, maybe before you eat or after you eat, you could do it again. And then 4 hours later, you can do it again, and you can do it again before bed, about an hour before bed. I wouldn't do it right before bed because it can give slight energy. But even if you don't do it the 4 times a day, doing it once a day can make a huge difference. And that's where I always recommend starting, because the 4 times a day is, that kind of is a commitment. But you can even set yourself little alarm reminders, and it really does just give you these little boosts throughout the day. And so, what this specific breath does, when I was in school for this, it was one of my teacher's favorite breaths as well. And he would always say, a healthy heart is a changing heart. So we want to increase and lower our heart rate, right? A healthy heart can do that in a healthy way. And so what this breath does is it kind of does that for a 5-minute period with every inhale and with every exhale. And we're taking around 6 breaths a minute for 5 minutes. And so what that ends up looking like is we're doing 5-second inhales and 5-second exhales. And that's one breath. And so when you do inhale, you want to inhale, you can do it from your mouth or your nose. Sometimes with this breath, I tend to do my nose a little more. But whatever is feeling the most comfortable for you to be able to take the full breath. And then again, you want to send it down into your belly. So if you're having a hard time doing that, just place your hands on your belly and try to make them raise. So it'll look here, and I can lower a little. Let's see. It'll be like, oh, and then we're holding. So we're not exhaling right away. So it's an inhale, and then we're holding, and then we're exhaling, right? So, and again, I'll lead that. So again, you're wanting to send the breath deep into the belly. And then I have a few notes too, a little bit more about this breath. And so basically your heart is the most important organ in regards to pumping blood through your whole body, right? We all know that. But this is really important because a heart that's not pumping blood properly can lead to a lot of various issues, which I know Dr. Saunders has talked about a lot, right? And so what we do with the heart coherence is like I said, we're raising and lowering the heart rate in kind of a 5-minute time period. So we're helping increase that blood flow through this 5-minute period. And it kind of starts creating a harmonious state into the body and helps regulate your nervous system too, which the nervous system is a really big part of your heart health as well. It's all connected. And basically, people who have lower stress and lower anxiety and better emotional well-being most of the time have greater heart health as well, because high stress levels impacts your heart. So this type of breathing improves your stress management. It can help with mental clarity. It can improve your energy. It can improve your sleep, helps your heart. And in the end, that improves our lifespan, right? So
Awesome.
breathing properly really can have a lot of benefits. So yeah, so I'll begin. So what you're going to hear is we're going to start hearing a bell, and that starts the breathing. And then we're going to hear a wood block sound. And at that first wood block sound, everyone can take the first breath together, and I'll lead it and you can just breathe with me. And then at the next, and try to breathe and don't exhale until you hear the next wood block sound. And at the next wood block sound, you're going to exhale, and exhale just slow, because we want it to last until the next wood block sound. And then you're going to inhale again. So every wood block you inhale, next wood block sound you exhale. And we're just doing that for 5 minutes, and it'll go by a lot faster than you think. So shall we begin? Okay.
You're saying when you inhale, your belly should go up, or when you exhale, your belly should go out?
When you inhale. Yeah. So when you inhale, you really want to try to just like expand everything from here to here. You're trying to just send the breath. Something that I've visually have done before that helps me when I first started, because it was hard for me to figure out how do I breathe in here. I kind of picture almost like starting from here down is a bag. And when I inhale, I'm filling up the bag from the bottom to the top. And then when I exhale, I'm emptying the bag from the top to the bottom. So when I inhale, I'm filling up the bottom of my bag and then to the top of my bag. And then exhale, emptying it all out. And so if that visual helps, that might help as well. And for anyone watching, I recommend sitting up straight, or you can even lay down. You can do this laying down on your floor. And sometimes laying down helps you get that deeper breath, just laying down on your back. So you can either do this sitting up or laying down. Okay, is everyone ready? Okay. Okay, so there's the start, and we'll all start in 2 seconds. Ready, and inhale. Exhale on that next, and then we're going to inhale again on the next sound. And exhale. And as you breathe, you might start feeling a little lightheaded, but that's normal. Inhale. Exhale. Deep inhales. Try to empty all your air on your exhale, and then breathe in again deep. Keep going. We're already halfway done. Deep into your whole belly. Deep inhale. Release all your air. Any sensations you're feeling, it's because you're fully giving your body oxygen. And we're taking control of our nervous system. A little over a minute left. On your next exhale, go ahead and sigh if that feels good. We'll do a big one on the next one. And again, don't be scared to sigh. Almost done. Last one. And last big sigh on this exhale. Good. Now just take your time and start breathing normal. You most likely feel some sensations through your body. You might feel a little lightheaded. Really, what you've just done is really oxygenated so many cells. A lot of time when you're not used to breathing that deeply, the impact can be pretty strong. And because we just raised our oxytocin and our serotonin and our dopamine, we're going to feel a little happier and a little elated. And we also just lowered cortisol. So pretty much this effect now benefits you for the next 4 hours. So it's kind of like a happy breath, a 5-minute happy breath.
This is great. Guys, if you're able, let us know maybe what you're feeling or how you feel now. I'd love to hear what thoughts you had and how your body's responding. That was
I
awesome.
always feel a lot calmer after. And it just really like I move a little almost slower, but because my nervous system is like, you don't have to move so fast, right? So it almost is a reminder to what we're needing a lot, and that's kind of to slow down. And I always feel like a lot of healing capacity happens in very gentle spaces. So if you are feeling benefits from this, sit with that right now and allow that to take over, because a lot of times the world that we live in right now too keeps us very stressed. It keeps us we have notifications going off all the time, right? And so doing something like this is such a really powerful reset. And so, yeah, and you can do it up to 4 times a day, which is cool.
Awesome. Susan said, did make a difference throughout, a feeling of well-being. I missed how often Esther said to do this.
Yeah, so recommend if you're going to do it at all, first thing in the morning is really amazing because it can really change the trajectory of how you even meet and start your day. And so before you have your coffee, like maybe just sit up from bed. And again, I'll find a way to get this audio to be able to send to everyone who needs it. But ideally, you can just sit up from bed, or you can stay laying down, take a sip of water, and then push play on the audio, and you can just start your day like this. And then if you would like to add more breath work through your day, you can do it every 4 hours. Just make sure your last session is at least 1 hour before you go to sleep, because it's kind of energetic. It's energizing a little. Even though it's calming, it's also energizing, because we did through this session, we raised our heart rate, we lowered our heart rate, we raised our heart rate, we lowered our heart rate. So it's also just a very healthy breath to the heart without even having to do like a cardio exercise, right? And it's just through breathing.
Teresa said, charged up, but lightheaded a bit and still breathing deeper still.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen said, just love this. Thank you. Let's see, someone said, just want to say that was wonderful. I feel so much more relaxed, but a little lightheaded. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And the lightheaded, well, you're probably even noticing right now it's starting to go away as strong as it was right at the beginning. And so in the next few minutes, you won't be quite as lightheaded as you were right in the beginning, but that kind of euphoric effect won't be maintained. Because when you release serotonin, so serotonin, and which a lot of serotonin is made in the gut. So that's a whole nother conversation. But a lot of people do not know that. But serotonin isn't just made in the brain. Actually, most of it's made in the gut. So having a healthy gut biome actually helps you be more happy in life too, because serotonin is your happy hormone. It regulates a lot of your mood. But yeah, so this breath does kind of flood some serotonin in your body, which is why you feel a little better.
Stephen says, we'll do this forevermore. Teresa said, more connected to my surroundings. Gail would love the audio. Stephen says, thank you, Esther. Rita says, I'm calm. My exhale breaths needed to be longer. I feel my sight is more clear and bright. Wow. Very cool.
Sending oxygen.
Awesome. Lots of thank yous. That was so great.
Aubrey has a
Love
question. Is it okay to hold your breath for 5 seconds in between inhalations and exhalations?
That would be a different style of breathing. So like I said, there's tons of different breath works, right? And so breath holding is another type of breath practice. And there's just some things you want to be careful with when you're doing breath holding, because it can make you a little more lightheaded than without holding. And so you want to make sure that you're definitely not driving, you're definitely not standing. And you always want to do this type of deep breathing when you're sitting in a safe place in a chair or you're laying down, right? Just in case you do get a little woo, you're not going to fall over. And so do not do this type of deep breathing when you're driving either, just because it can have that lightheaded effect, right? And so the breath holding, if she is interested, you can look up box breathing. And box breathing is like an inhale, a hold, an exhale, a hold, an inhale, a hold, an exhale, a hold. And so, yeah, that's another style.
Interesting. Awesome. Love this so much. Thank you, Esther, for doing this with us. We're probably going to need you to come back again. So,
Yeah, you're welcome.
yeah, this is great. Okay, we're going to wrap up here. We have 5 minutes left. I want to quick go over a few more things. First of all, this will be recorded. So if you guys want to go back and watch this, you can definitely do that. It'll be on YouTube. Bartonwebinar.com is the place that you want to go. That's kind of your hub. That'll give you the links to our YouTube channel, our past webinars, all of our products, etc. And of course, use code webinar25 to save 25%. If you want to be in touch concerning breathwork specifically with Esther, she did give us her email address, and I will scroll up and repost that because I did share it. There it is. Okay, so it's solarbreath@gmail, but it's SOULAR. Okay, so I'm going to share that one more time for you guys. There we go. Okay, perfect. Just to kind of recap, guys. So for the beginning of the webinar, we went over, we did our stress assessment. And so now you guys, you can go back to that, revisit. Those were tough questions, really tough questions to just quickly answer in 60 seconds. So go back and revisit that. If you have your copy of the Healthy Heart Solution Kit digitally or this version, go back, spend some time in those questions. It's going to give you an idea where your stress levels are. And then in the solution kit, it talks about what to do. Now, we gave you a great way to reduce stress today with Esther. She, this was just touching a small thing that you can do, right? Good options. Also, on page 36 in the book, we start digging into what to do now that you know those major things that are impacting your health. Really, stress is our number one thing in this book that we want to cover. Of course, we go into the eating plans and all of that, but if you're not taking care of your stress, it's very difficult to reverse illnesses, right? And Dr. Saunders has shared that with us numerous times. So just for example, once you figure these out, you're going to eliminate the quick and easy stressors. You're going to devise a plan to tackle the hefty stressors. You're going to make peace with everyone in your life. Sounds way easier when it's just written out like that, right? But we dig into that. That stuff is very important, has a significant impact, right? You're going to begin establishing effective anti-stress habits. For example, maybe you're going to wake up every day now and do this 5-minute breathing that Esther has taught you, right? Maybe that's part of your new normal. And A lot of you are talking about how great you feel. Well, imagine starting your day with that, right? That's it. That's huge. So I would just really recommend that you dig into this book, that you do the hard work, because it's going to make such an impact on your health. And you deserve it, right? You deserve to make these changes. You deserve to be healthy. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the webinar today. Get in touch with Esther. Let's see, Esther. She posted her Facebook group. Awesome. Okay, cool.
And Dr. Saunders has an article called The 10-Minute Plan to Control Stress on Home Cures That Work. Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. That's good. Okay.
And Dr. Saunders did join the breathwork at our retreat too. And he said he went into an incredible state.
Yeah, you know what? And we have had some longer sessions. I know I've done a longer session with you, Esther. I can't remember how long it was. There was a small group of us actually, that was last year. And it was amazing the different responses that people had in their bodies. Some people become emotional. Some people have physical, interesting physical things that happen in their body, but it's so powerful. So powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dr. Saunders is a huge fan.
Yeah, so yeah, you can connect with me. That's my group for my Portland sessions, but if you just want to follow me on there and reach out or leave a comment, I can post and respond to you there as well. And one thing I wanted to note about this specific style of breathing is the more you do it consistently, the more you'll get the results from it. So it's one of those things that the more you do, it doesn't fall off, it actually grows deeper. So how you feel after and your response from it only keeps increasing the more that you do practice this. So that's kind of a cool thing about it too.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, that is all for us today. This was a treat. It's so fun. Esther, you are just lovely. Thank you so much. And we will see all of you next week, bartonwebinar.com, and have a wonderful Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye all.